It's very difficult to go after such a energetic session, right? I mean, I believe you have done a great job. You have stolen a lot of my thunder. But anyway, talking about the topic, by the way, you see my picture, or they have taken away my picture. I was in a suit or something. But that is not how I look always. I mean, that was a very polished picture. I wore a suit and a tie, a nice shirt. Being a CISO, still I could find some time out and got a picture clicked. But majority of the time, I look like this. And I'm sure most of you also look like this, taking care of cybersecurity and compliance requirements and responsibilities in your respective organizations. By the way, I'm not here to talk about anything new today. So if you attended this session and thought that the speaker is going to talk about something revolutionary, something extraordinary, then let me give you a warning, you will be disappointed. I'm going to talk about how to extract that last bit of toothpaste from your toothpaste tube, in the morning while brushing the teeth because there is still some left. Or maybe, to roll it through so that we can find out the last toothpaste out of the tube. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how can we extract more value out of what you have already invested in, what you have already deployed. Nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about buy this technology and this will even solve the world's hunger problem. That is not the case. Specifically, given the time that we are facing economic crisis, the budgets are getting reduced, the compliances are increasing, security threat is evolving, we should know how to go back or take a step back and see how can we do our job in a much more better and in an innovative, creative way. Let's look back within and see what is the problem. Because our challenges are not decreasing. It's only increasing with time, budget pressure. The business wants more return on investment on the cybersecurity technology. You go to them and present that I want to implement a new technology, deploy a new capability. The first thing they tell you that I already gave you so many millions of dollars. Tell me what is the ROI. Because the budgets are not unlimited. And new compliance, we know that the personal data protection, digital personal data protection bill is underway, cybersecurity framework is underway, and so many things are coming up. So the pressure and the requirements are only increasing. And it's a tightrope that we have to walk on. Balancing the cyber risk along with the business initiatives, business objectives, business imperatives, and the compliances. Meeting the compliances, making sure that we are able to navigate through the talent crunch that we have in our organization, not in organization, in our industry. At the same time, stopping the attackers from getting in. And if they have been able to get in, how do we detect them before they are able to make any damage to my system? At the same time, something that nobody appreciates in our industry is eating our vegetables. What is eating our vegetables? What is hygiene? We are so obsessed with technology and new things that we very often overlook the hygiene aspects that we can implement that can make everything a lot better. If you look at the COVID situation, the pandemic that we all went through, because of the hygiene measures we all were taking in terms of washing our hands regularly, keeping social distance, masking ourselves up, using sanitizer, the viral infections, the usual viral infections were at all-time low. Because we were able to maintain the hygiene which was able to keep the normal viral infections at bay. So if you take care of the hygiene, that can help you in increasing the security posture of your organization to a large extent. and eating your vegetables, right? And as I was talking about, as we are not taking care of the hygiene, we are not able to do things in a much more sophisticated, or I would rather say simpler manner. What I say that in cybersecurity right now, we are in a state that we are drowning in our own solutions. We are not drowning in our own problems. We have done over-solutioning, because of which, when there is a problem, I have no idea where to look because I have got 20 different consoles in front of me, which makes it difficult to understand how do I navigate through the complexity that I have been able to build so far. Just imagine, we all receive messages on WhatsApp, perhaps Facebook, perhaps Twitter, LinkedIn. In our office channels, we receive messages on Outlook, Gmail, Slack, Microsoft Teams, and whatnot. So sometimes when you recall one message, I remember I received this message, but what channel was it? Was it WhatsApp? Was it Slack? Was it Microsoft Teams? You are unsure. And then you go through all these consoles, look at the chat history to find out that message. The same thing is happening in cybersecurity right now. We have so many consoles, so many different tools that we are getting overwhelmed with the tools, and that is the reason the attackers are winning. The attackers are ahead of us because they don't have this complexity. They are not thinking and working in silos. We do passing the buck. Network security team says that, oh, this has emerged from endpoint. This is endpoint security's responsibility, pass the ticket. Endpoint security team would say, oh, this is because of an identity compromise, not my responsibility. Pass it on, pass the ticket. My queue should be clear. That is the typical mentality that we have. But the attackers do not have this mentality. Attackers are collaborating. They are seeing the organization in one single piece, and they are launching attack, they are collaborating, but we are disintegrated, we are in silos. That's the reason they are winning every time. Talking about government, we were talking about increasing compliance landscape. It's not just the Indian regulations that we have to take care of. As we are working in global companies, we have footprint in so many different countries. You have regulations that you have to take care across geographies. GDPR impacts us as well. India data protection law is coming. Wherever your business is, you have to take care of the regulations across the globe. And it is not a journey that can be taken today or in just one day. It is a journey that will take you multi-years to reach, or maybe while you reach, or after you have reached the destination, it will still take, or the goal, or rather I would say the goal post would have been moved, and you will have to still go further and further to reach that goal. And it's not easy. It's a multi-year journey where you start with risk assessment, technical security controls, incident response planning, cyber insurance, compliance regulation, and whatnot. In businesses, right, we all work for business organization. In businesses, it's very important that we understand and we know our customers, KYC, right? In cybersecurity also, it is very important. In cybersecurity, KYCE is very important. Knowing your cyber enemy. If you do not know your threat profile, if you do not know your cyber enemy, then you are protecting and securing yourself against nothing. It's very important that we understand what is the threat profile of the assets of the business that we are in. And then design and implement controls according to that, rather than just going about implementing and designing controls. This is a threat report, or based on the analysis of different organizations, which threat actor is very prevalent in the industry right now. There is a link that can give you access to this report, which is a very comprehensive report about what all threat actors are using, the different TTPs, and which threat actors are more prevalent. So this will give you a lot more perspective into who is your cyber enemy. While we know our cyber enemy, if this is your anti-ransomware strategy, or majority of the organization has this as their anti-ransomware strategy. If you're not able to read it, don't worry. So this is a restaurant that I came across in Melbourne while walking to a meeting. It was a Sunday morning, and outside this locked or closed restaurant, it was written a note saying, "No cash kept on this premises." So thieves, please do not break in the glass door and add to my loss, because there is no cash you would find in the shop anymore. So what's the point of you breaking in and finding nothing? Even though there may be cash kept, but they are giving you the warning. But the analogy is that even we and all of us in cybersecurity are using the same anti-ransomware strategy. We say that I don't have anything precious and of value in my organization. We are a very small organization. We are hardly 200 people. And we don't have any very confidential information. I don't think so the attackers would launch attack against us. We are not an ideal target for them. We tell them, okay, we don't have anything confidential. But we are overlooking the fact that even though you may not be even they may not find a lot of valuable goods, and they are not able to find valuable data in your organization, it still can lead to a large reputational loss. And I would highlight this one. So this is the insult hurled by the threat actor on this entity which got hacked. The ransomware actor is making fun of the victim, saying that, "Boss, I am not going to launch another attack against you. You are too easy. You do not even have the basic controls in place. It is very easy job for me. I don't do easy jobs." So on top of the fact that you got attacked and they're asking for a ransom, and if you are getting insulted in the public media like this, it will just take your reputation for a big toss. And you would not want that. In fact, 86% of the organizations which are targeted by ransomware threat actors, they are less than 1,000 employees strong. So it's a myth that the cyber or ransomware threat actors are not going to target small and mid-sized organizations. Rather, they are a low-hanging fruit, because the controls are not very stringent, and a mid-sized organization may not have very strict governance, and they are more likely to pay, and they are more likely to put this issue under the carpet so that nobody knows. That doesn't happen very commonly with large organizations. So do not assume that we will not get attacked, or mid-sized or small organizations will not get attacked. The chances are higher in large and mid-sized organizations. So let's break some common myth. We always think that more is better, more is merrier, but that is not the case. Higher the spend does not equate to higher the protection. More is not always better, and perfect security and perfect protection does not exist. In fact, Gartner also came up with a new term, and they are very good at coining these terms. I'm sure all of you know that. The idea is more or less similar to what I'm presenting, but they gave a very good term to it. Minimum effective mindset. That do not go ahead with doing everything in a maximum capacity or maximum effort. We all are Indians. We have been raised in a manner that put more effort, put more hard work, and it will make you successful. Yes, hard work is important, efforts are important, but we should know what is the impact that we are able to make with that. So Gartner came up with this term called minimum effective mindset, where the focus should be the impact rather than the efforts. So that is the reason more is not always better. We should look at the fact that how minimizing the tools can give you the most impact. Minimizing the data that we are using for analysis can give you the more impact, and so many other things. Moving on, one of the reasons why we are not able to do it successfully is that we are not measuring we are not measuring security in terms of business value. So the very first thing you can do when you go back to your offices to relook at the way you are reporting security to your business, to your management. And business understands only three things: cost, revenue, and risk. Translate your security value into these business measures: cost, lower total cost of ownership, higher return of investment, minimizing compliance fines. In terms of revenue, how it is adding to the competitive advantage, how it is adding to the brand reputation. And in terms of risk, how it is increasing the cyber resilience, how it is helping you in continuing the achievement of mission, how it is helping you in meeting compliance and regulatory requirements. The moment you start talking the same language that they understand, you will see immediate results and you will see a lot more commitment coming from the top. I mean, there is a very famous saying that if you have to talk to someone and reach their heart, talk in the same language that they talk, not the one that they only understand. It's like if I have to speak to you, we both understand English, we both can talk in English, but if you have to do heart-to-heart connection, we speak in mother tongues, and then we will be able to establish a very good heart-to-heart connection. So speaking the business language will help you in making that heart-to-heart connection. And majority of the cases why we are not able to do this is that we are too busy to innovate. Even if Prateek is coming to you with a solution today, you are saying that, sorry Prateek, whatever you are saying, I can't implement, because I am too busy being busy. The biggest problem is busy being busy. So even when you have certain measures that you can take, we are too busy, but we should look at the fact that how can we do it better. So these are the small things that we can do to unlock more value, to squeeze out that toothpaste out of the tube when I ran out of the toothpaste, or maybe when I'm trying to squeeze orange juice, trying to extract the maximum juice out of the orange that I've purchased. The 3 buckets: doing the simple things well, taking care of the cyber hygiene. The second one, human plus machine teaming. And the third initiative is unification. As we go further, you would automatically be able to appreciate, this is something I can go and start doing on Monday. I don't need investment for that. I just need will and commitment. So let's see. But before we talk about the 3 buckets, the very first thing, the foremost thing is that we need blessing. And more than God's blessing, we need the blessing of our senior management and the business in order to make anything successful. So the very first thing, if you want your security to be successful in your organization, get your commitment from the business, or get the business on your side. If you are rolling out multi-factor authentication and your business comes up with a long list of exceptional account that please do not implement multi-factor authentication because it will be very disruptive, and these are the accounts that the attackers are after. So if your business is not committed, you cannot do that. And how can you make the business committed? By speaking the same language of cost, revenue, and risk. English, Hindi, Kannada, Tamil is only a mode of communication. We need to talk the same language, that is cost, revenue, and risk. So now let's look at the 3 buckets: doing the simple things well, eating your vegetables, cyber hygiene, whatever you call it. Completely up to you. The very first thing is regular health check. Do you ever wonder the kind of blood reports and X-ray and USG and whatnot that doctors recommend us to do every year, as annual health checkup and whatnot? Do doctors do that themselves or not? Do you ever wonder, do doctors go through this annual checkup or not? Whether doctors are taking care of their health or not, right? That is what we have to talk about and understand in regular health checkup. In order to secure our organization, we implement technologies, we draft policies and procedures, but do we ever make sure that what is the health of these security technologies that is keeping me secured? The EPP, Endpoint Protection Platform, EDR, Endpoint Detection and Response, SIEM, antivirus, web gateway, web proxy, email security that I implemented 2 years ago, did I ever go back and check the exclusions list to see how many of those exclusions have expired? Did I ever go back and check that the new capabilities that these platforms are offering, am I even enabling those? Majority of the time, we are using this in set and forget. Do I ever go back and check the new threat that has come out in the industry? Do I already have an existing control in my tool and technology or not? Can I do something beyond that? And we very often also, because of one false positive, we just disable a feature altogether, saying that this is giving me a lot of false positive, let's just disable it. This may not be the best feature. Because of this, a lot of attacks are materialized. How many of you remember the WannaCry incident? All of us, right? It's almost like a very big event in the life of a security professional. WannaCry would not have been the success that it is today had you been performing or had you performed regular health checkup of your antivirus or EPP back then. Majority of the organizations who became a victim of WannaCry ransomware had endpoint protection platform of the best kind, but they did not enable behavioral-based protection, because of which WannaCry is a success that we know today. A lot of those could have been prevented. They did not patch on time. They did not take care of the hygiene. Otherwise, it would have been prevented. So the very first thing I would suggest, in order to make sure that this does not happen to you, and something you can do next Monday or the coming Monday, talk to your partners, talk to your technology vendors. If you are a Sentinelone customer, talk to us and ask us to perform regular health checkup of your deployment and your installation. You perform that, it is in 90% of the cases comes at without any cost. It is already a part of your contract. Review your exclusions. Review the recommendations that came out of these regular health checkup. After the blood report, you see what values are going down, what to fix it. Implement the recommendations, and this will automatically strengthen your security capabilities. And this will help you unlock more value out of what you have already invested in. Is it difficult, by the way? Does it require more money, more technology? Anyone? It is that simple. So I used to get a lot of query in Gartner about how do I implement anti-ransomware control. I used to recommend, the very first thing is that do not implement a new technology. Go back and relook at your existing technology set, perform a regular health checkup, and it will increase your value proposition from 1x to 2x already with your existing investment. All you need is will and commitment. The second thing, security hygiene, cyber hygiene. You have your systems, you perform, you do so many things, multi-factor authentication, secure configuration assessment, and whatnot. But we may not be performing the vulnerability management and hygiene in the best possible manner. So if you take care of the hygiene of the systems in terms of vulnerability management, in terms of secure configuration management, in terms of multi-factor authentication, PMP, it will automatically increase the value of your, or hygiene factor of your organization, which will be able to prevent 50 to 60% of the attacks. So if you look at the first point, vulnerability exploitation still continue to be one of the highest infection vector, initial infection vector. It starts with a vulnerability exploit on an external facing system. And if you are able to take care of your vulnerability management or multi-factor authentication, you can reduce your exposure by 50% and beyond. Very basic. You're already doing it. You just have to make sure that you're changing the policy and procedures around it to make it a lot more effective. Change the way you are performing vulnerability management. At the same time, we always wait for a crisis to happen and then we start planning and executing it. We never prepare for the crisis. And that has been a bigger problem. Ransomware is something which is inevitable. No matter whether we would like to admit or not, it will happen sooner or later. So it's better that we prepare for it. COVID was one such situation where it was going to hit everyone, and we were preparing ourselves for it. In ransomware also, we have to prepare for it, but we are not doing it. So don't build the road while you're trying to walk on it. Build the road well in advance, and then when you have to drive your car, you can ride on it without having to build on it. And that is what I'm talking about with policies and procedure. You buy the technology, but the technology itself is not a capability. Technology is just an enabler, one of the enablers. In order to make security technology a capability is something that will generate business value. In order to make it a capability, you need policies and procedures on top of the tools and technologies. I bought the best EDR. And after buying this EDR, there are 10 alerts. What do I do with these alerts? I have no idea. I never thought about what would I do with the alerts. Should I pass on this to the SOC team? Should I pass on this to network security team? Or to which team? How do I handle this alert? If you do not have the policies and procedures around it, you will not be able to make use of it. And you also need the human intellect and capacity. So without the policies and procedure, your tool is of no use. And even when you may have invented and found the best tool, you have no idea what to do with it, right? So it's better that we understand the technology, develop the policies and procedures around it so that you're able to extract more value out of it. So please go back this Monday to your offices and see what are the tools and technologies that there are no policies and procedures around it and you are not making the best use out of it. And without any investment, you can build policies and procedures around it. Do you think it will need thousands of dollars? It will just need 5 to 6 days of your work, understand the tool, what it is capable of, build policies and procedures in consultation with your internal team, your security service provider, and there you have, unlocking more security value. Then, also the last part, we spoke about the equation tool, policies and procedure, then the human intellect. You also need humans. Don't let anybody tell you that AI can replace humans. AI will scale humans. It will not replace humans. We will still need to operate tools to understand what is happening on the tool. That's the reason you need human plus machine teaming. And the whole is sum, or whole is greater than the sum of its part. That means 1 plus 1 will become 5. With AI and humans coming together, 1 plus 1 will become 5. And that is what we are talking about with human plus machine teaming. So now let's look at how security capability would be built. We spoke about policies and procedures, add human intellect and capacity to it, and you have the solution. So if you have certain solutions and tools and technologies in your company where there is no one who is monitoring these tools, there is no one who is proactively managing these tools, you need to change the way it works. In fact, last week itself, I came across an organization which had the best technology, but they did not have the human resources, they did not have the policies and procedures, and they had thousands of alerts sitting idle, and they had no idea what to do with it. And they were not able to make best use of the technology. So in terms of, let's say, if you do not have the capability, and the keywords can be overwhelming in terms of what managed services to use when you're looking at outsourcing. This is a blog that I had written on understanding different managed services options that are available in the industry, MDR, MSSP, MTH. It can get confusing, I understand. So whether MSSP can replace MDR, MDR can replace MSSP, all of this can be confusing, but this will help you understand how these things stack on top of each other and what is, given the maturity of your organization, what you need at this point of time. The last one, and this is my favorite. So I'm sure we all would have heard of this example in our childhood days, that if you have one stick, it's very easy to break that stick. You just do this and it is broken. But if you have a bunch of sticks together, let's say 10 to 15 of them in a bunch, And if you try to break that bunch of stick, it is not possible. And that is how all of us were taught the lesson of unity. Unity in strength, strength in unity, which is right. Strength in, yeah. Unity is strength, yeah. Unity is strength, right? That is what is happening with us right now in cybersecurity. We all are divided, we all are working in single stick manner. We are not together in the company when it comes to cybersecurity. And that is the reason the attackers are breaking us every time. So what we need to do is that we need to bring all our forces together and unify them. Bring all the sticks together, all the capabilities, all the power together, make it a bunch, and the attackers will not be able to break us. And that is what I mean by unification. And it is not something that can happen overnight. It is something that does take a strategic decision, a strategic outlook. But it is something that you can embark, a journey that you can embark upon today and start thinking holistically on it. So you have all these technologies and a lot more than that. My slide could not accommodate. An IBM report says that a typical security operations center or an organization has over 50 tools. I could not accommodate all of them. So the way you go about unification or bringing the security forces together, that you connect all these tools using one single unified data lake. Right now, all these tools that you see have their separate and siloed data lakes. They all are working in silo. They're not talking to each other. So connect them to one single unified data lake, perform data analytics across all these data that these tools are gathering, and identify the attacks, perform or have them under one single dashboard, one single pane of glass. So, if you receive a notification on your phone, if you know where this notification came from, or, if you get one, or change the example, the WhatsApp and Slack and other example we are talking about, if I could find the message on one single search saying that, where is this message? And it can find me the source of it. That is the best thing ever. So have one single pane of glass rather than looking at multiple screens, 20 different screens. And perform automation across these layers, not just on one single layer, but across these layers, so that you are able to do things at scale. And augment that using human. And there you have it. We are able to bring the security forces together, which were working very much in silo. And if you have been hearing of this term called XDR, it is nothing but this. It is trying to bring all the security forces together which were working in silos all this while. And again, this is also not going to ask you for any more budget or implementation of a new tool. You just have to now think strategically that before I buy a new shiny toy or a technology, I should think holistically that how can we connect them together in one single data lake. Don't fall into the hype of vendor consolidation. Vendor consolidation is not the right strategy. The technology consolidation, where you are able to bring the technology together, talk to each other in the best of breed manner, is the best strategy. So that is how you will be able to bring the security forces together and pose yourself as one single unit rather than fragmented units where we are passing the ticket of network security to endpoint to web and email and whatnot. Passing the buck is not the right way. That is what we are doing in Sentinelone as well. We are unifying the security forces together where we can integrate with Sentinel-1 sensors and other third-party also like Mimecast, Okta, Microsoft Office 365, Azure AD, Netscope, Zscaler, almost everything. So that you become one single pane of glass, automation across layer, one single unified data lake, so your data is in one single place. Just to conclude the presentation, we are also a leader in the Magic Quadrant. It is, I say that with a lot of pride because I used to be one of the authors of the report. We are a leader. We are also when it comes to the gold standard of EPP, EDR or threat detection, we are rated the highest in the MITRE evaluation across the last 4 years. On Gartner Peer Insights, we are at 4.8 out of 5, and 96% of our customers recommend or love to recommend us to their peers and in the industry. On that note, I would say we should take out the complexity out of security to make it a lot more operational and a lot more useful, because complexity is killing security. We are drowning in our solutions. We need to break that. And on that note, thank you very much. I'm happy to take any questions. I'm happy to hear any comments where, or any, your opinion where you do not agree with some of the recommendations I'm making. I'm more than happy to take your opinions and questions on that. Thank you. Please, sir.
Integrate database dashboards. Is there any best way, or is there any special? You have experience in how to integrate dashboards?
Absolutely. So, if you look at dashboard, it is just the UI based on the data which is in the data lake. As you have been able to build one unified data lake, the dashboard, that one unified dashboard will be able to ingest data or will be able to show data after performing analytics on one single dashboard. So the moment you integrate and send all the data or maintain one single unified data lake, dashboard would be a natural outcome of it.
Do dashboards allow integration of inputs of other dashboards?
Yes, yes. With the API, yes, it is very much possible. That is also possible, and if you already have the data can also give you the interpretation. Absolutely. Any other question? Yes. Do you have a mic extra? Am I taking a lot of your time? Because you guys don't seem very enthusiastic.
Hi, Gaurav. How are you? So good to see you.
Am I audible? Yeah. So hi, Prateek. My name is Gaurav, and my question is, as Sentinel is one of the well-known tool and well-known framework, basically you can say. So you know about the backdoor, right? Backdoor is the most dangerous attack happening in the industry, and FireEye is one of the biggest example where the attacker was there 78 days in the servers of FireEye.
Yes.
So do this behavior analytics, behavior way can detect backdoors as well?
Absolutely. In fact, not just behavioral-based detection. Behavioral-based detection is one of the measures to detect supply chain attack or backdoor attack. The other way is also threat hunting, where you proactively look. I mean, if you look at that data lake, I'll just quickly go back and show you that slide. Yeah, if you look at this data lake that you have built, on this you can perform proactive threat hunting based on what's happening, and then this will also help you discover new attacks that may not have been occurred. So if you see the latest 3CX supply chain attack, that was detected because of the threat hunting at the data lake layer. Yeah, thank you.